have the same program written. What I've done here is, this is the function prototype, where I'm telling the return type is integer, the function name is add numbers, and there are two arguments of both are of type integer, and we are calling them a and b. Now in the main function, we are taking three integers, n1, n2 and sum, and we are reading values of the two integers from the user. So to read two values, we use the function called scanf. This is a library defined function. And then we say sum equals to add numbers n1 and n2. So whatever values are entered by the user, will pass them as arguments to this function add numbers. Add numbers is defined here. So the value of n1, which will be entered by the user, will get stored in A, and n2 will get stored in B. This function will calculate the sum A plus B and store it in result and then return the result. The result will come here and equate to sum, and then we are printing the value of sum. Let's run it and see what happens. So when we run it, enter two numbers. Let me enter 3 and 4. So it returns sum is 7. Let me run it again. This time let me enter 100 and 21. The sum is 121. One thing to note here is, even if we don't mention this return type, so let's say I don't mention it, let me build it and see what happens. It gives me a warning that the return type defaults to integer in declaration. So right now it's okay for us because we want it to be integer, but it's always a good practice to mention the return type even if it is integer. Otherwise there can be confusions that it might have been missed by mistake. So we have already built it. Let's run it again. We enter 100 and 31. Suppose we get 131. Now you see, this result is the value which is getting stored here. So if I don't return the result, if I return something, say 21, let's see what happens in this case. I will enter two numbers 100 and 31. It shows me the sum is 21, even though the sum should be 100 and 31, 131, but it shows me 21 because I am returning 21 from this function. This 21 is getting replaced here and getting stored in sum, and then we are displaying sum. Now let me take it, put it back to result, so we get the correct result. Now other thing to see is the number of arguments should be same. Let's say here I make 3 arguments in C, and here also I put the same one. So a prototype is nothing but a way to tell the compiler that somewhere in the program later you will encounter a function named add numbers, and it has 3 arguments and a particular return type. The return type here is int. Let me write int here as well. Now you see, the function takes 3 arguments, but when we are calling the function, we are passing only 2 arguments. Let's see what the compiler has to say about it. It complains that there are too few arguments. The function expects 3 arguments and we are passing only 2 arguments. That is why it complains that there are too few arguments. So if I pass one more argument, let's say sum, this is just a bogus argument which we are passing, and we build it. Now everything runs fine, but it gives a warning that it is used uninitialized. That's because we are passing it to a function. That means we are using it, but we have not given it any initial value. It does not complain for n1 and n2 because just before passing as arguments, we are reading values for n1 and n2 from the user. So when we run this, again 100 and 31, we get 131. Now what happens in the other case? If we have 2 arguments in the function definition and prototype, but we are trying to pass 3 arguments, it says too many arguments. The function definition expects 2 arguments, but it is receiving 3 arguments, which is violating the C syntax. So that is why it's an error. So we remove it. And other thing to see here was We just added sum to match the number of arguments, even though we're not really using sum in this function. So now when we build it again and run, let's say 131, we have 131. One other thing to note here is, when we mention the function prototype, we don't have to give the variable names. We can just mention the type. We can give the variable names in the function definition. So when we build it, there's absolutely no complaint from the compiler, because the prototype is only to tell the compiler that somewhere later in the program you are going to encounter this function with this arguments, this types of arguments, this many arguments, and the return type is going to be this. What happens if we remove this prototype? It gives us a warning, implicit declaration of this function add numbers on line 12. So it is encountering this function here and it is saying that I don't know what this function is. But some compilers will allow us to build through it. Some compilers will give us an error at this point and stop the compilation. So it's always better to have the prototype mentioned. Now we have mentioned the variables as a and b. What happens if we mention them as n1 and n2? Let's build it. Sorry, here it says a and b are undeclared, so we'll rename them as n1 plus n2. We build them again and we run it. 131, we get 131. This is to show you that n1, this n1 and n2 are different from this n1 and n2. This n1 and n2 are local only to this function. This n1 and n2 are local only to the main function. So let's put it back to a and b. Now you see here I have n1 and n2 mentioned. n1 and n2 are declared in the main function and we are passing them as arguments. Will the compiler allow this? No. For this function, n1 and n2 are undeclared. So this function does not know what is n1 and n2, even though this function is called from the main and it is accessed in this function. That is because the scope of these two variables n1 and n2 is limited only within main, only from this brace to this brace. It is not, the scope is, or the functions are not visible outside the main function. That is why it gives us an error here. So we have to rename it to a and b. We can do another test here to see what are the values that are assigned to a and b. Let's print the values. Printf. The value of a is %d /n, a, and similarly we'll write for b. So when we run this, what do we see? Let's enter n1 as 21 and n2 as 2. So it shows the value of a is 21, the value of b is 2, and the sum is 23. Let's print here as well the values of n1 and n2. So we'll just copy this. When we build this and we run it, we have entered two numbers 21 and 2. The value of n1 is 21 and you see here the value of a is 21. So n1 gets mapped to a. The value of n2 is 2, the value of b is 2, n2 gets mapped to b. It's a direct one-to-one mapping. So n1 gets mapped to this, n2 gets mapped to this. Now to show you the benefit of a function, let's calculate the sum, say 10 times, or 10 times will be a lot, 3 times. So we'll copy the same set of functions We'll remove this. Enter two numbers, the numbers, and print the sum. So we have it here 3 times. Let's run it. Enter two numbers, 2 and 2. The value is 4. So we'll correct it. We'll give a /n. The sum is sum/n. We run it here, 2 and 2. The sum is 4. Enter two numbers again. We have 30 and 20. The sum is 50. Then we have 100 and 20. We have 120, and that is where the function ends. So now this set of statements where we are doing the sum and we are printing this two statements, instead of writing it 3 places where we wanted to print the values of the numbers which were entered, we have written it inside a function, and from that function we are displaying it. So that is how the size of the function is reduced. And let's say we realize that there is some error in this display. We don't want to display it as A and B. We want to display it as N1 and N2. We want to display it as N1 and N2. So we just have to correct it at this one place in the function. We don't have to change it everywhere, because had we written it everywhere instead of calling the function, we would have to change it everywhere. So now if we build and run it, in two numbers, 2 and 2, we have 4, the value of N1 and N2, 121, we have 121, we have 300 and 500, the sum is 800. So that is how functions work. There is no limit to the number of arguments we can have in a function. There is no limit to the number of functions we can have in a program. It's always a call by the developer or the programmer whether he or she wants to create a separate function or wants to keep it as it is, or just the statements. Creating functions definitely helps a lot, like the example which I gave where you want to read the temperature sensor. So if there are a significant number of statements, it's a good idea to create a function and call that function every time. In case you have 10 different sensors and each sensor has a number, you can pass the sensor number as an argument to that function to read that particular sensor and then return that value. This method of passing arguments where we are passing the value is called call by value. There is another method called call by reference where we do not pass the value but we pass the address where the variable is stored. Like we had discussed in the beginnings of this tutorial series, that variables are nothing but names to a memory location. So in call by reference, we do not pass the value but we pass the address of that particular memory location. We will see that after we have discussed pointers. For now, this is how functions work, and the method of passing arguments is called call by value. We'll revisit functions and discuss call by reference after we have discussed pointers. We can further optimize the number of sentences that we have used here. So if you see, we have this printf statement, printf enter two numbers, printf enter two numbers, and this thing repeating. Then we have scanf, that is repeating all the times, and then we are calling the sum add numbers, and then we are displaying the sum. So we can put all of these repetitive statements inside this particular function. So what we'll do is we'll take this statement and we'll change it, we'll place it inside this function, we'll place it here. And now since we are reading the numbers inside this function, we don't need arguments, we don't need to pass these values as the argument. So we'll remove the arguments from here and we'll remove it from the prototype as well. Now we have entered two numbers and it's reading two numbers which are N1 and N2. So we have to change the values. The result will be N1 and N2. And we are displaying the value of N1 is this, N1. The value of N2 is N2. And then we are returning the result. but in this case we don't want to return the result, we want to display it here itself, this particular statement. So we'll take this statement and we'll print it here. What we have here is result, so we have to print the result, not the sum. We'll print the result here, and now we don't really need a return statement, so we'll just change the return type to void, which means we are not returning anything, and in the prototype also we'll change it to void. This tells the compiler that from this function we are not going to return anything. Now we'll just remove all the statements which were written unnecessarily, and in the function calls we don't need the arguments now. We'll just call the function without any arguments. Let's run this program. Okay, it's giving us an error that n1 and n2 are undeclared. Here we have not declared it, though we are using it in this function. So let us take these values, n1 and n2, will declare them in the functions, and now we don't need this, we'll remove it. We'll remove sum from here, we don't need sum. So what we are doing is we are just calling this function 3 times. So 3 times this function will get executed and we'll see the sum. Let's build it and see. It's built. Now we'll run it. It asks me for 2 numbers. I'll enter 5 and 3. The value of n1 is 5, value of n2 is 3, and the sum is 8. Let's enter 10 and 30. The sum is 40. Let's enter 50 and 50. The sum is 100. So after executing 3 times, this function exited. So now we see here the repetitive statements were removed. We put all of the repetitive statements inside the function, and whenever we call the function, this is just getting executed. Now instead of writing this number 3 times, we can put it inside a loop. For that we'll declare a variable here for int I equals to 0. For I equals to 0, I less than 3, I plus plus, and inside this for loop we'll call this function add numbers, and we'll remove all this. Let's build this program and run it. So we have 2 numbers, 20 and 30, the sum is 50. Then we give 4 and 1, the sum is 5. We give 500 and 500, the sum is 1000. So we use loop here to call the function 3 times. 3 times this part of the code, this entire function is getting called, it is getting executed. Now had we not written a function, we would have to write this set of statements every time whenever we wanted to do this. Instead we wrote it only once and we are calling the function again and again.